Hey, good afternoon, Advanced Anatomy crew. I'm coming to you on a Sunday rather than a Monday in hopes that if you want to have a little bit of flex time tomorrow, you can get started on week 2. That's where we are already. We're a week done. All right, the quiz window was extended a little bit from yesterday, Saturday at 9, to tomorrow, Monday at 9. And if you've taken the quizzes, take a deep breath and then maybe look forward to the second week. If you haven't taken the quizzes yet, keep studying. You've got till Monday morning, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to finish your quiz. It's a single quiz this week and lecture because we don't have a lab quiz. As soon as possible, I'll get those grades up and I will make the quiz available so you can review it. And the very first thing you should do every week is review the quiz from the prior week. It'll do two things. It'll help you close the loop on any content, and also, just as importantly, it'll help you identify any mistakes, and then you can analyze why those mistakes were made. You'll miss lots of questions on lots of exams during the course of your life. So a couple things always have to happen. You need to close the loop on the material because you need to know the content, but also analyzing why you may have answered a question incorrectly will help you strategize for the future. That's how we build test-taking skills. So when the quiz window closes, I'll get the quiz posted, analyze, take a look at anything that you missed, and then ask yourself the questions. And the important questions are, why did I miss it? And there are lots of reasons. Maybe you didn't study it. Maybe you didn't study it enough. Maybe you read too quickly. Maybe you didn't understand it. Maybe you were going too fast. There's lots of different answers to that question. And then the second question is, what could I have done differently as I prepared to have gotten that question correctly? And you can use that information as you prepare for the next week's content. Here we go. We're on week 2 already. This week you will need to have access to your electronic textbook because the lab will be in Connect. You need this. This is not optional. And if you miss this, the points are just gone. So we had kind of a week to get up and running with this. If you take a look at D2L on the left side, right under Contents, or right at the top of Contents under the syllabus, there should be a little link to get you clicked and connected. And I can see that most of you have access to it and have checked it out, but a number of you haven't. For lecture this week, we've got a couple of videos to watch. One video is a big overarching kind of pyramid video on cells and how they behave. And the life cycle of a cell is called the cell. So I don't know how those cells are spending their cash or living their lives. The cell cycle is the series of events that a cell will go through during the course of its life. At the end of a cell's life, commonly they divide. Not always, but commonly they divide. And there are two processes to describe that division. One's called mitosis, one's called meiosis. For the next couple of weeks, we're going to spend a lot of time talking about how cells divide. This week in lecture, there's the overarching video to kind of set the stage for that. It's a little bit detailed. You'll need to take notes. You'll need to study those notes massively in order to be ready for not just for this week's lecture quiz, but for the following weeks. And then there's another lecture video on ploidy, or really it deals with the number of chromosomes that are found in a different cell or different types of cells during different stages of the cell cycle. So that's the lecture content: cell cycle, mitosis, meiosis, and a video on chromosome number. For lab, I'm going to ask you to go on to Connect eventually, but there are a couple of things to do. For lab, there are 2 videos to watch. The links are in the checklist in D2L, and they're also in week 2. Both of these videos deal with DNA and heredity. So we'll talk a little bit about the structure of DNA, we'll talk a little bit how it works. And so there are 2 videos to watch for lab. You can see the links. And then please note this, there is a simulation in Connect. I've opened up essentially a lab on heredity that you should walk through. Please watch the 2 videos first to set the stage, study the content, and then you're completely responsible for all the information in the heredity simulation. And it may take you a little while to get through the heredity simulation because it's kind of detailed stuff. And just like a regular lab, sometimes there are stops and starts and we have to do things a little bit differently. So it's a little bit iterative. There'll be a little bit of give and take. The lab simulation must be completed in order for you to get credit for your lab quiz. So this week in lecture, we've got 2 videos and a quiz. This week in lab, we've got 2 different videos on DNA, a heredity simulation, and a quiz that's due. The quiz for lab will not be in D2L. That's where your lecture quiz is. That's where you've gotten used to taking them. That's where all lecture content assessments will be housed. But we will switch this week, which is why you need it. The lab quiz will be in Connect. And I've set up a practice quiz in Connect. If you just want to get in there and foul around and mess things up, there's no points for this practice quiz. Just get in there and start clicking around a little bit. Also, please check your email a couple times a day. I'm still waiting to hear back from a few of you. This is an online class. This is the way that we communicate. If I send something in an email, you're responsible for it. And if you don't check your emails, you're going to miss out. As soon as I send that email, it becomes your responsibility to read it and note. If you ever miss an email or don't read an email and there are some consequences, and those will always be in the terms of points, that's on you. You've got to check these things. I would really love to communicate with you on a regular basis. We can talk about content. We can talk about anything else that you need to talk about that will help me be your advocate. That's really what I'm here to do. I'm here to watch you succeed. I'm here to write you a good letter of recommendation, and I'm here to watch you walk across the stage with your degree and then become an awesome professional. That's what I would love to do. The more we communicate, the more I'm able to help you do that. This is a really cool week of content. It's DNA and heredity. It's stuff that we kind of had to blow by in general anatomy and physiology. But this stuff is true and awesome and deep, and it's at the center of everything that we'll have moving forward. So, this week in lecture, video on cell cycle, mitosis, and meiosis, video on chromosome number, and then a quiz. This week in lab, 2 videos on DNA structure and how DNA works, simulation on heredity, and then lab quiz in Connect over all of that lab content. All right, thank you, folks. Please stay tuned for an email. I hope you have a good Sunday. I hope you have a good Labor Day. I know a lot of you are working tomorrow. Please stay safe. If you need me, let me know. Quiz window will close Monday morning. Quizzes will be posted. Please review your quizzes. Check your emails. Thank you, folks.